Hello and welcome back to another episode of Power Rangers Lore. Today we're going to talk about none other than the Green Samurai Ranger, or the Green Forest Ranger, Mike. Yes, Mike, the man with no last name. However, supposedly he does have a last name, and in that last name the actor has said it is Jackson. Now, in any script there is no way to confirm that it is the truth. He might have just made it up on the spot, but that's all we know for certain. And I plan to ask him, because apparently he's coming to a convention pretty close to me, and that's one of the questions I'm going to ask him right then and there. What is your last name? So, who is Mike? Well, Mike is a human character. He loves video games and is a bit of a rebel. Now, he is not the first Samurai Green Ranger. It's somewhere else in his family line could be a Samurai Ranger. A lot of people are hinting at it as his father, but we don't meet his father or any of the rest of his family or any of his friends to know for certain to guarantee that. Now, it could be his mother, just like Lauren was the true Red Ranger, supposedly, and her costume design changed, so we don't know for certain what's going on. We did get a flashback of a male character, but that doesn't mean anything because in Dino Fury, she just ripped off the skirt. So think about that. Now, he is the pilot of the Baird Folding Zord and controls the element of the forest. Now, what is the element of the forest? It's basically nature, the wind, the leaves, the roots, is all the type of same thing as Xander is from Mystic Force, but less magical. Now, he has to use his symbol powers, which is very, in its own right, magical, to do this type of things, and if he messes up, which he kind of has a problem with symbol powers in the early beginning of the series, and it takes him a long time to actually produce some of them pretty quickly. Now, the reason why he has that problem, he's a bit of a slacker. He likes to hang out with his friends and goof around more than basically focus on that. Now, he is an effective ranger nonetheless, though he is very humorous and lazy, and it doesn't always line up with the way of the samurai. Now, his view on the way of samurai is very different from the rest of them. He believes it should be more modern age. It's why his fighting techniques are very different rather than the classical two-handed over-the-head attacks. His is usually doing acrobatics as well as attacking with one hand, blocking with one hand, while eating an apple at the same time. So, he first appears on the screen just after the Mentor G calls on arms, after the first Nihilakh has been awakened and the Senzu River starts to rise. He appears and starts doing battle against Moogers. Now, what are Moogers? Moogers are just Nihilakh foot soldiers that are sent to the putties. If you haven't seen the series at all, they're quickly beat up, but they still keep going on there. Now, what else is about this character? We don't know much more about his past before that. Unlike all the other characters who get past characters have family members or talked about or shown slightly with Emily and Mia, we don't see anything else. Even Kevin has given more than he is. Mike doesn't really have a full episode dedicated to his past. I don't think he likes to look into the past. I don't think he sees a reason to look in the past, unlike the rest of the Rangers. He always likes to head towards the future. Now, he has a great relationship with none other than Emily. Now, he basically is flirting on and off with her and has a somewhat romance with her, though he will never admit it to her face until the end of the series. Now, it's almost hinted in the series that he's kind of in a semi-love triangle with Emily and Jaden, though it's not fully specified there, but you can see sometimes where she gives him more than attention than Mike, and Mike kind of is like going about it. Now, that's just my opinion of the matter, but that's what I saw when I watched it. You could probably see something different. Now, he is a hard worker when given the right motivation, and can work tirelessly to prove so, especially when he was trying to complete and prove that he is worthy of the Bisque. That's not a word. Beetle disc as going on there, such as the Forest of the Trees episode. He basically focused heavily on that and getting his symbol powers correctly. And it really ticks him off when Mia is at first given to him instead of him. Eventually he does earn it, but it takes time. Also, when Emily is injured, he takes it hard, like very hard, and basically blames himself on many levels and gets very angry. Now, he's quick to anger in that part, a little hot-headed when it comes to her, but he's very dedicated to her protection and basically swears that he's going to avenge her in some way. Now, him and Emily would both get their own episode of Time to Shine, when it's just him and her left standing after the other 4 Rangers are basically turned into inanimate objects. He basically is given the black box by Master G, or Mentor G as you call him, and he and Emily are able to prevail and power through against the forces of evil. Now the black box basically gives them their super mode and gives them a huge power up. Now later on, when Lauren would show up near the end of Super, he would get additional little basically evolution of his character. Now she would show up and she really basically feel ostracized against the other Rangers because she just replaced their favorite Red Ranger, who apparently had been lying to them the entire time that he was the Red Ranger the entire time, Jaden. Now Lauren shows up and she immediately feels awkward. Now to break that tension, Mike sees her awkwardness and her basically nervousness in the entire situation and goes, you know what, I'm going to step in, and immediately challenges to a fight. Kevin and the rest are going, whoa, what are you doing? He goes, she's a team member, I want to test her skills, and basically does that. It basically breaks the ice right there, and I think it's because he felt like a basically outsider, like just like she was at that time, and it was a good little character little development there, and I really liked that what he did there. Now he would, along with the other Rangers, would go and defeat Master Xandred, and after that series is done, he basically would go, I'm going with Emily to where she's going, and that would be the set. Basically, it's hinted that they're now in a relationship of some sort. Now, he would show up along with the other Samurai Rangers at the legendary battle in Super Mega Force against the forces of Armada, and would do battle against their... He would even have his helmet revealed, showing that it's actually him and not just another paid actor who is nameless. Now, that'll be the last time we see him up to current standards. We might see him in Dino Fury or later series as time goes on. We'll see what's going on there. Now, in the split history of the Shattered Grid, he is seen in the battle against Draken, fighting against the forces of Lord Draken. And this happens right after the defeated Nylok. Lauren is back leading the Samurai Rangers, while Jaden and Mentor G are off somewhere on a secret mission, supposedly. I think they're just riding, just basically trying to get away from all that crap. They fight the Centurions of the Mastodon and the Sabretooth, or Centuries of Lord Draken, and basically get captured. Now, they are later broken free, but not before their samurais are stolen, and essentially things go on there. Now, after the battle and Draken is defeated, the timeline is restored, and so is Mike. Now, he is just one of the few Samurai Rangers. Now, he's the second Green Samurai Ranger to be technically third. I'll say, okay, third Samurai Ranger. The first one we would see would be in Ninja Storm. He is green, and he is a Samurai Ranger. Instead of a Samurai, I would not call him a ninja at all. He's pure Samurai. He states it in there. So he's the second. That was the first one. The second one would be his parent or ancestor, who was the one right before him that is seen in the series. Now, there could have been more before that, but we only see that one beforehand. And then himself. Now, what was your guys' opinion? I hope you guys liked him. Now, let's go over to his arsenal. He has the Samuraizer, which allows him to morph as well as create his... Crap, I completely forgot what it's called. Hold on, let me look at my notes. I can't find my notes. So, just basically Samuraizer basically helped him do his little markings in the sky, and he turned into a ranger as well as do his other abilities. Now, he also had his samurai discs and his spin sword. Now, the samurai disc would go over the spin sword and allowed him to activate special abilities and attacks. Now, his special weapon that was different from just the katana-like blade would be the Force Spear. Now, I believe the Force Spear had some other abilities, so let me go get my notes out for that. Now, the Force Spear represented a yari, or a Japanese traditional spear. It had a disc attachment to the back of it, and blade appears on the top, so basically you can flip enemies and impale them. It can also fire energy lasers for the tip in a barrage of leaves and wind in Stormleaf attacks. Or basically, he's essentially got the Pokemon equivalent of Leaf Storm or Razor Leaf in his hand. Now, technically, also in his arsenal is also the Black Box. Now, the Black Box is not just for him, it is for the rest of the team. He turns into a super mode, and later on, he I think it combines with his Zord to become a Shogun mode. Now, it's not just him, but all of them. Mainly used more by Jaden, but he still has used it in several episodes, once or twice. Now, his Zord is the Bear Folding Zord, and I do not believe he gets an additional Zord B on that one at all, which is very interesting. Mostly nowadays, on past you get a replacement, but they also had more than 20 episodes this season, so that's why. There we go, and that is the last little bit that we know of about the character. Now, I do there's a few little notes. The symbol on his helmet is supposed to represent tree, but is translated to forest. So it's not a major change there. In the early scripts, his name wasn't going to be Mike. It was going to be Parry, P-A-R-R-Y, like Parry a blade. I'm glad they changed it. And that's basically it. So, thank you guys for watching, and I hope you guys have a good one. May the power protect you, always. Make sure to comment, like, and subscribe at the end of this video. All your likes help me out, and all your watchers do too. Thank you very much, guys. I would really like to discuss with you guys what your topics are. May the power protect you, always.